going to do a quick evaluation of the Kahr PM9. Now there are a lot of videos on YouTube about the PM9, and so you've already learned quite a bit, but I want to bring out some points that you may not have seen before. And I think it's important for you to realize that I am not a gun connoisseur. I don't own a lot of guns, but I've owned a lot of equipment in my lifetime, and so what I'm going to do is evaluate the PM9 in terms of being a piece of equipment, in terms of functionality and reliability. So the first thing I want you to know about the Kahr is that I really like it. It's a good piece of equipment. Works very well. Kahr really made history with giving you 9mm power in such a small package. Very accurate, very good piece of equipment. However, there is a big flaw, or flaw might not even be the right word. There's a problem with the Kahr that you need to be aware of, particularly if you're looking at it for purchase, or maybe we'll just call it an issue. And so the issue really is about the magazine, and I'm going to show you the problem by putting rounds in the magazine one at a time. Now you'll notice the first thing is that when I put a round in the magazine, it's nice and tight. Second round goes in the magazine, little wiggly, but still well within spec. Third round goes in, it's a little more wiggly, still within spec, probably could get away with that. Fourth round, you'll notice that the problems really start. All of a sudden the rounds are becoming very wiggly, less stable. Fifth round, problems getting worse. Sixth round, way wiggly. The round's now just being held at the back only. And then the seventh round, as you can see, it's all the rounds have now flattened down, and the seventh round is very unstable. Matter of fact, you'll notice that I pushed down on the round and it did not pop back up. It's not in place to be fed into the gun. And this really is the problem right here, is that the rounds become unstable. What that means, it's actually got a couple of implications. First implication is in firing the gun. I'm one of these people that I do not like to carry a round in the chamber. I know a lot of people do. That's great. I don't. I like the extra safety of not keeping a round in the chamber. When I need the gun, pull it out, charge the weapon, and off we go. Problem with the magazine is if I carry the 7-round clip or even the 6-round clip and I carry them completely full of rounds and I put it in there, okay, now I'm carrying, and now I need the gun and I go to charge it, you'll notice that round has now kicked down and the gun is not charging. The round is not going into the chamber. Now I can cajole it, and get the round to go in, but that definitely is not optimal. That is not the way that I would like the gun to charge. Now you'll notice that the next round, the 6th round in this case, has also kicked down, but it has a little bit better. You'll notice that it caught, but it kind of goes in, so it gets a little bit better with every round as you go down through the magazine. Now, you'll notice, let me just kind of contrast this to another piece of equipment, the Glock 19. I love the Glock 19. Excellent piece of equipment. You may or may not like it, but I'm telling you, this is a great piece of equipment. It does the job. It works as advertised, no surprises. Works every time, first time. And one of the things that you'll notice about the Glock 19 is that the magazine, now this is a 15-round magazine, completely full, and you'll notice that is the 15th round, and it has absolutely no wiggle. So you have to ask, okay, why is it that Glock is able to have a 15-round mag with all the rounds nice and tight in there, and Kahr can't have a 7-round mag without having a lot of issues? Well, fundamentally the problem is not Kahr's fault. It's not that the magazine is faulty per se. Now we will talk about a solution. I think this can be resolved in the next version of the PM9, but fundamentally here's the problem. You'll notice if you ever look at a 9mm round, you'll notice that it's tapered. the back end of the round is wider than the front end, so it tapers from back to front. And you'll notice, you can see that effect as I've put rounds here. The taper, when you stack the rounds together, it causes a curve effect there. Now, that effect, that tapering effect, actually gets magnified when you stack these rounds at an angle in a straight line. So here's basically what the rounds look like when they go in the magazine. And you'll notice that the first round is in, the top round is in place and ready to fire. And as it goes down, that tapering actually causes the rounds to increase the angle. So the round down here is at a very high angle. What that means is you cannot put pressure, you cannot put enough pressure on that round to cinch them all up. It is impossible. And if you want to prove this to yourself, take the 6-round magazine or the 7, doesn't matter. Take one of the magazines and take the little plastic gizmo out of there and just put the rounds straight on the spring. So you have the spring pushing all the way up on the rounds, and what you'll see, and that's the way I have this one right here, I've taken the little plastic thing out, you'll see that the rounds are still loose, and it is just physically impossible to be able to push this round on the bottom and cinch them all up. So if you want to prove it to yourself, you can do that. What happens is the force actually goes toward the back of the round rather than the front of the round, so it is not physically possible to cinch those rounds up that way. A solution, of course, would be to have a magazine that's curved. A curved magazine would give you more of this kind of shape here, and it would allow the rounds to be cinched up together. Now, I'm not the first person to think of that solution. There's a lot of firearms that do use the curved magazines for that reason, so that they can keep control of all of the rounds, keep them all cinched up. So bottom line is this: if you are, the second problem is this: if you're carrying this magazine around as, let's say, a backup magazine, you're going to have an issue. At the end of the day, you're going to end up with 2 or 3 rounds in your pocket, and this is why. Of course, you know, let me put the 7 rounds in. Let's say you're carrying this in your pocket, and that gets punched down. Then what's going to happen is the round's going to get flipped up, flipped down, and in just a second the round will pop out. You'll notice the next round, it's ready to pop out. I didn't even touch it. Goes down, goes up, and then it pops out. So by the end of the day, because these rounds are so unstable, because of the shape of the round and the problem with stacking them, you're gonna find that you're gonna have several rounds in your pocket. Now, just real quick, how is Glock able to do this? How are they able to put those rounds in there stable? It's real simple. They've got the rounds in 2s, and so instead of having rounds sitting on top of each other like this, they actually have them side by side or slightly cocked off to each side. And what that does is it allows the rounds to actually rotate a little bit to compensate for that tapering. So in a Glock magazine, because it's two rounds wide, it makes for an extremely stable magazine. You can see there's no shaking, there's no looseness in there. Those rounds are in there very stable. So again, if you're in the market for the PM9, great gun. Be aware that if you're not going to carry one with a round in the magazine or in the chamber, then you're probably going to have to carry either 5 or 6 rounds in the clip. You're not going to get the full effect. If you have any questions, leave them below or comments. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.